You're listening to the Everyday Astrology Podcast. I'm Hilary Scott, your astrologer, and this is the forecast from Monday, July 10th to Sunday, July 16th. So we're well into summer now, or at least like 10 days or so into summer. No, we're like 20 days into summer. So it's summery. This is summer. We've also got a lot of stuff going on with the shifting of Mars and the shifting of Mercury. Coming up also, we're going to be having the nodes changing signs and Venus going retrograde. There's a lot going on. So you might notably feel that Mars going into Virgo shifts the energy from being incredibly sort of Leo, fiery, self-centered, fun-seeking energy to being a lot more, what do I need to fix things? How can I organize things in a way that is beneficial to everyone, because being of service is good. So Mars there fires up that part of ourselves that wants to perfect and remedy and do what we need to do to make perfect, ultimately, which of course perfect is an impossibility, but we can always strive, right? Which is very much what Mars in Virgo is going to be doing, is striving. The same day that Mars goes into Virgo, Monday, we'll also have an opposition between Mercury and Pluto. So there's a definite, like a push-pull about whether we want to go there, we got to go there, we don't want to go there. Sort of like mentally, we're not really up for it necessarily, but Pluto's like, no, we're going to get things done. We're going to definitely sort things out. So you might feel like you've got to process. Maybe there's some emotions that you thought you were done dealing with, but suddenly they occur. Or you end up having a very deep conversation that's very revealing with someone, some sort of communication that could be like a power struggle energy, because Pluto can often relate to power struggles. But often too, it's just like bringing up, like dredging up what is blocking or sludging up the system. So instead of fearing the Pluto energy, it's best to like embrace it. We also have Mercury going into Leo, and Venus and Mercury will be in Leo together until around the 28th of July. And that gives us like a really nice chance to think warm thoughts, to be encouraging and to be authentic, to be who we are without having to arrange things in any way. I was watching that documentary series on Arnold Schwarzenegger called Arnold, which is quite fascinating. And I found it interesting because I know he's a Leo with a Capricorn moon. And I found it interesting that there's a point where he describes moving to California and being in Venice and finally having like the satisfaction of all the eyes on him, noticing his amazing physique, and he just so unabashedly expresses how great it is to be the center of attention. And I thought that is such the epitome of Leo, and not in a bad way either, but in a like just a self enjoyment, like just enjoying being yourself, which is something I think we could all do. We could all use that enjoyment of being who we are. So with these energies in Leo, we should be able to kind of tap into that a little easier and be who we are without feeling like we've got to arrange ourselves in any particular way, but we can just enjoy whatever ourselves is. And that's very much Leo. Also, we can encourage others to do the same. So if you have to put yourself out there, you have to make a pitch or communicate something or meet new friends or just do something that showcases who you are, you're going to be very well supported, definitely during all of July. We also have this week, those are such big changes with Mercury going into Leo and Mars going into Virgo. It's a very obvious shift in energy. Wednesday, we have the Sun squaring Chiron, and that is like a triggering energy. We could find that we feel irritable, that we're touchy, that our sense of self is in some way threatened, or we're like just vulnerable. There's like a vulnerability that comes. Chiron helps us get in touch with the wounded parts of ourselves. And it's really very much the wounded parts of ourselves that often drive a lot of the, like, it's like, well, this happened, so this could happen kind of energy. So you can get in touch with why you chose a life with particular energies and situations so that you could get to where you were going or what your ultimate destination was. So, but you could be triggered. There could be stuff bringing up wounding, childhood wounds, feeling like you're not good enough, not worth it, not important or worthy. The worthy thing is a big one. And like feeling humiliated or shameful about yourself in some way. And there's so many things. We all have these wounds somewhere in our chart. And there's so many different ways it could be triggered and so many different severity levels as well. So hopefully this is just a little blip on the radar for you, because it can be sad. And if you do need to feel your feelings, be there for yourself. Don't try to push them away. Don't try to like be someone you're not or ignore what you're feeling. Feel your feelings, because just being there for yourself is acknowledging your inner self's or inner child's pain. And that alone can be just so powerfully healing. So hopefully you have a good friend or two to talk to, or therapist or an astrologer, or someone that you can express how you're feeling to, because having someone there to receive it and acknowledge and, you know, what's the word, when you validate, when you feel validated, you can heal. So if you need to do some healing, Wednesday's a really good day for that. It's also like there's an edgy kind of energy going on with Uranus and the moon connecting to each other. And then the moon will also be connected to Neptune. So there's definitely powerful energies at play. You might suddenly come into contact with someone very important, or some new situation occurs that makes your life go in a different direction. But or even just having like an idea that comes to you that's like, whoa, like Uranus can give us lightning bolt flashes of insight and inspiration and help us to download different intuitions. So that can be a happening on Wednesday. So be prepared, keep your eyes open, keep your heart open as always. Coming into next week, like the rest of the week, it's not as, I mean, we do have, actually, this is a good one on Friday, the Sun sextiling Uranus on the 14th helps us to be open to change. We can like take the opportunity, do something different, get out of your comfort zone. Like you'd be so surprised that when you get out of your comfort zone, amazing things can happen. And that when Uranus comes into contact with any of the major planets in our charts, that's an opportunity to, like, for newness to happen. I was driving back from the horses in a Soyuz and visiting my sister, and it was an amazing trip. And I was tired and I didn't really want to go again because I'm going back again this weekend. So I was like, oh, it's a 3-hour drive. Do I really want to do it? And it's not just any drive. It's like a really mountainous, like lots of switchbacks and steep hills and 100% attention paying for the entire 3.5 hours. But I realized this time that, like, I forced myself to go because it just seemed like the right thing to do. I'm not always set up there like I am right now. And I just realized that I had so many amazing experiences in this like 48-hour trip that I took. And even driving through the mountains, which can be incredibly stressful because there's all different weather changes that happen. But it was so gorgeous. And I realized I'm like living in a part of the world in British Columbia and the Rocky Mountains that is just absolutely gorgeous. And I guess I kind of got used to it because this is where I live. So, and the route that I took, it changes from like the deep, like the coast of British Columbia, and then goes through the big deep mountains and then up into this desertous region. And it's just so beautiful. And I really, really appreciated it this time. I was able to like settle in and see what was around me. And it's just so soul refreshing to change your perspective on things, and also to just get out there and have new encounters, because you just never know what kind of magic is going to happen or what beautiful things you're going to see, or, you know, just, it just pays to get out of your comfort zone, especially now with the Uranus energy that we've got going on. So I hope you do take the time to get out there and see what's out there in the world. We do have coming up next week more big changes. The North Node is going to be switching signs. The North and the South Node are going to be switching from Taurus Scorpio to Aries Libra. And that is a big shift, like a major jump. We also have an opposition coming up the following week with Mars and Saturn. So do what you can to go with the flow. It's a busy week, but it's a week of like shifts in new directions that are going to feel like invigorating and helpful and good. So be willing to kind of step into it and improve. With Mars in Virgo, there's so much to improve. And you're going to feel like this, like bee in your bonnet about perfecting everything in your world and everything around you and healing and doing the best you can to be as healthy as you can, because that's very much Virgo energy. And Mars is there firing it all up. So that is it for this week. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll be back next week.